All right, I think it's streaming, so I think we're good. Let me see.
It says live on YouTube on
Yeah.
my
Okay.
cell phone, yeah.
So yep, it's there, so you can start.
Okay, I'm going to bring our May 21st EDC meeting to order. And its time is 6:04 by my clock. So first is the roll call. We have Mark and Al, Tracy and myself. And we have the approval of the February 20th minutes. So do I have a motion to approve?
Yeah, a motion to approve.
All right,
Second.
so motion by Mark, and second by Al, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
yeah, it's unanimous, okay. Citizens' comments. And guests, so we don't have any on board right now, unfortunately. I also, in reports and correspondence, I contacted Friends of the Forest, Ryan, remember? And he
Yep.
was, I gave him the information to get on board here with us today too. And he had information he was going to share with us, but apparently he can't get on either, so. So we'll get into it. Anyway, committee reports. Farmers Market is first. Mark, do you have anything?
I mean, nothing immediately. I guess it will kind of, anything I have to talk about will probably stem off of what we will be doing regarding, the COVID-19 procedures.
Okay.
The only other thing I was kind of thinking of was since we don't have the Department of Agriculture grant, I was working on that sponsorship packet, but then I kind of stopped because that was in March, and I thought that it wasn't the right time to ask local businesses for a sponsorship, seeing as many of them are probably struggling.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if we were going to have the market this summer anyways.
Valid, yeah.
So I can certainly start that up again. It won't take me very long. And if we did want to consider seeking sponsors, I would probably only reach out to local banks, seeing as they're the ones that are probably the least impacted by this. So as far as I know of, there's only Jewett City and Eastern Savings. So I would just reach out to those two.
And Putnam Bank.
True. Yeah, Putnam's in the area. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
okay. So what I'll do is I can finish that up potentially tomorrow, if not this weekend. And then I'll email it to everyone on the commission. And then you guys can just say yes or no, or, let me know if you want me to make any edits. And then I can, I'll reach out to those banks and see if they're even willing to meet and discuss a potential sponsorship. And when I get a date and time, I'll invite anyone else on the commission to join, if they do want to meet. So.
All right, that sounds good. Couple of notes on that. I gave everyone on the email the documentation that Vinny gave to me on the COVID-19 guidance for Connecticut farmers markets. That's what he was going to speak to us about today. Okay.
Okay.
With that, if you were to look through that carefully, he's got a page in the back where he actually did a little sketch layout of the market. I don't know if you can see this, but that's what the layout of the market is. And what he's saying is basically, we've got to stay 12 feet apart from everybody. And we have to monitor the people, make sure that they follow a path. They can't be coming in and going every which way anymore. So that's what he was going to talk about. There's an entrance and there's an exit on that little sketch he prepared. And when the people come in, they have to follow the path. They can't reverse and go back or dilly-dally around. And so informational booths and stuff like that will have to be placed in and around or figure out how this is going to happen for those people who want to do those information booths. But essentially, there can't be any eating, and there can't be, it's just come in, get what you're going to get, and get out. That's what he was saying. So
I guess we can remove the wood like we did last time and just move it for an entrance and an exit, right?
Yeah, he was
Wood
saying
beams.
to take out the beams and put an entrance and an exit.
Yeah.
And then we have to have cones, the people to follow and stay distance away from each other. That's what they were saying. I think what could happen here is, I'm hoping what's going to happen here is that without Vinny today, we'll pick him up at our June meeting. And that certainly will be, I think, where we can, I'm hopeful we can meet. I mean, I was thinking that we only have you, I, Tracy, and so that's the four of us. Maybe if Diana was to join to take notes, you know, that'd be the 5 people. And if we all wore those masks and kept 6 feet apart from each other, we could probably meet in the town hall, or we could go outside and sit in the gazebo and meet out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For our January meeting. For our June meeting. So and essentially, the necessity for setting up tables and chairs and benches and having the musicians come in and all this stuff is verboten. That's not allowed anymore. No eating, no dilly-dallying, no way around. Just get your stuff and get out. So the necessity for us to set up a booth ourselves, well, I guess we could do that. We should do that. But necessity to get the storage van in and all that other stuff and chairs and tables and stuff. That's not going to happen. We can go to the little for our table and for our tent. We can go to the little shed in the back and get that and put it back every time. That's what I'm thinking. We don't need to have the big setup there.
I don't recall what we had decided from the months ago when we were going to do signs like entrance. Did we ever?
Yeah.
I don't remember what we decided in the end. That was a long time ago, it seems. You know.
Vinny said he's gonna make those signs.
Oh, okay.
He'll actually make them for us and paint them up and put them up for us. So that I thought was good.
Is he? Are they like handmade signs, or are we purchasing them?
No, he's making them himself.
Okay. So I guess to kind of ask a frank question, are we set on having the market this year?
Yes.
I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I called today. I called all our 5 vendors up. Okay. I got the soap, Emily. I got the baked goods from Canterbury. Got the beef gal, and I got the garlic. I know I see the garlic people in church, and they're going to go with this. And Vinny. So those are our 5 major vendors, and the olive oil people. I just left a message, and they sent the packet out by email as well. And talking with the beef, Amy from BZB Farms sent in her application. She talked to Tracy, and Tracy sent it to her. And talking with her, they were anticipating getting an envelope in the mail again, like we always have done in the past. But we didn't do that this year. So the rest of them, like Emily said, I was waiting for that invitation to come in. So I just figured I can scan it and send it to them email wise, and that takes care of all that extra stuff.
Yep.
So that I did. And I also sent them in the service agreement that we went over at our meeting when we had in February. I sent them over that too. I said, you know, that's going to be, you'll have to sign that and send it back into the town hall as well. And I said that opened up the opportunity for the arts and crafts vendors to join and make it more of a market. But that flies in the face at this time with what the intent is for the COVID market directives from the Department of Agriculture and the state of Connecticut's edict on how to handle this farmers markets during the COVID-19, the guidance that they give us. So that's where we are with all of that.
I do have some concerns regarding this. I mean, just because, as you just pointed out, we only have 5 vendors, and to be honest, none of them are Voluntown based, and to go through the effort of putting this market together, with the risk that's involved and the logistics of only really the 4 of us, 3, if it's, you know, just myself, Al, and you, to put this market together and follow all the guidelines, follow all the restrictions to ensure everyone's safety, that's a pretty tall task for 3 to 4 people. And there's no guarantee that people are going to want to come to the market during this time, simply because, you know, there's the concern of, you know, COVID. I know, for example, Basra, they have like 40 vendors, and they are almost the same size as Voluntown, and they've essentially set up like a order ahead kind of feature to their market, so that those people that want to, you know, buy stuff, they can order ahead, and the vendors will actually have it packaged, and the people don't even leave their car. It's brought to them, and, you know, and then the people just proceed. I don't question the guidelines that we have in place, but I am concerned that for essentially 4 people, it's a pretty tall task to do for potentially, I hate to say it, a small amount of people. You know, I don't think we can expect, you know, the 200 people to show up every weekend like they did last year, you know, during these times.
Well,
and
you want to see if we can just try it and see what happens. If it looks like we can't it gets out of control, we can shut it right down and say that this is out of our control.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be, you know, a Debbie Downer, but I think we at least need to have the discussion, because it not only are we, you know, so limited with the amount of people that we have on the commission, but we've also lost that grant. So, you know, every dollar that we invest in this year, you know, may not see its full potential because of COVID-19, if that makes sense. And every dollar is coming directly from the town this year. We don't have the support of the grant. So
well, I believe what's going to happen with our budget that we submitted, it's going to get cut pretty badly. And so the items that we had included were the postcards, to send those out, and the storage van and the porta-john rental. So rather than this, and so the radio was out and postcards, I don't believe those are going to go. I haven't heard yet back from, oh, here's Vinny. Hey, Vinny.
I made it.
Good, good. Well, we're talking about the farmer's market. Did you hear Mark's concerns?
I heard it. We're not even close to the size of Bosworth. I mean, they have 40 vendors. We have 6. I know we can control it with an exit and entrance like I talked about with you, Jack. And
Yeah.
I don't foresee seeing that we have to box product and wait for people to show up. If they don't show up, then when we have product sitting there, that's not going to go out the door.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I'm actually,
have 6 vendors. So if you put 14 feet apart and spread them out and you put one direction in and one direction out and there's no wandering, it's that simple. I mean,
Yeah.
I run one twice as big in Norwich. I've already had it approved with the state of Connecticut and the Department of Health. And it's by thinking Bosworth is competing with Voluntown, you're out of your freaking mind.
Right?
yeah, no,
We gotta watch
I'm
the language,
actually,
guys.
40 vendors
This is
and
being recorded.
3,000 people go through that one. We never have 3,000, we have 200. And now
Yeah.
with the Corona, we're only gonna get 50%. Because a lot of people aren't gonna come out because they're afraid of what's going on in the world, you know what I mean? And if
yeah,
they do come through, God bless them if they're gonna eat healthy, you know what I mean? And try to help the farmers and the soap people and the meat people, and because the stores don't have nothing to offer anybody anymore. They're running out as the time goes on. And I've talked to the head of the Department of Agriculture, Edgar, and he said, Vin, you guys got to get these markets up and going, because some of these markets don't want to do it because the towns are afraid. As long as you do the Corona-19 social distancing and direct them in 2 different directions, and there's no wandering and no grouping, and you shouldn't have a problem. I mean, I run Sonny's Market and we're running at 98% with the health code. So that store does 10 times the business what we'll do in that farmer's market. You know what I mean?
yeah. My concern is less about the actual control of the market. It's like you pointed out, the demand of the market. I mean, if we're only having 100 people show up to this market, but yet we still have to follow all of these guidelines with only the 4 or 5 of us, that's a pretty tall task. And, I guess I'm kind of posing the question, would it be more beneficial to have the vendors go elsewhere? I hate to say that, but our market is only going to have 100 or so people. Would it be better for them to take this opportunity and go somewhere else potentially for this year until we can kind of get back to normalcy?
Yeah. So what do you want? Shut it down, you're saying?
I'm just posing the question of, with the limited resources that we have, is it worth doing it this year?
Well, maybe not to you, but to me it is. It's my livelihood.
No, I
Vinny.
know, absolutely. I trust me, I know, and I know that
We got
it's
plants in the ground. My greenhouse is operating. I mean, I'm running at 100% for this market. I mean, I only do 2 markets a year, and that's my livelihood. I mean, if you want to shut it down, you got to let me know so I can, change my rules around here too. You know what I mean?
well,
Vinny,
I mean,
let me interrupt, guys.
yeah,
Vinny was supposed to talk, that's what he's here to do, is to talk about the COVID guidance from Connecticut farmers markets. He's attended sessions with the farmers market people from the state already. And I'd like Vinny to talk about having that information, what it is that he and the vendors have to do. And then, Mark, I think you'll feel a little bit better about what the EDC, what we have to do. So, Vinny, why don't you talk about just what the
basic
farmers
layout.
market, yeah, how it's going to work.
Okay, so what I'm trying to figure out and what I'd like to see, and it's entirely up to you people and everybody else, we have to do an exit and entrance, get the traffic flowing in one direction and only in one direction. And most of the people that come to the market in Voluntown are respectable people. They're not a bunch of crazy people, and they understand what is going on in the world. So what the state of Connecticut has put together for us to make it easier for us, which I'm going to be the only one running Norwich myself and with no backup. In Voluntown, where the exit is, where the entrance is now, we would keep it. All right, because it's there. But then 4 or 5 blocks down where you guys had the cube, where you kept the picnic tables and all that stuff, we can open that gate back up and put an exit there. I've already laid out signs 1 foot by 6 inches or 2 foot by 6 inch with exit signs on both sides of the exit and both sides of the entrance. So the traffic will go in one direction. And then if you space your tents 14 feet apart accordingly with a 6 foot spacer in front of them, mark it out. The customers don't touch anything. They have a right to walk through. If they want to purchase, they can, but only the vendors, and I mean only the vendors, will use and handle their own product. And if someone's hanging around, we'll just push them through. You know what I mean? We don't have a lot of hanging around. There's not going to be hanging around. People know that you can't hang around. I've been talking to the Department of Ag, the head of the farmers market, Jamie Smith, and she says that the programs that are available out there, how they're working is great. The only one that I see, and only 2 that I see are they're going to do it with a box routine, are the bigger ones. But then at the same time, the vendors are going to lose. They're going to lose because, for one, they have to call 3 days in advance. Our vendor customers don't call 3 days in advance. They just show up. Whether they show up or not, some weeks they might, some weeks they might not. So they said if you just get a flow of traffic going smoothly through it, you'll be better off. Because if you stop boxing product, it's not going to happen. Suppose they call up and then something happens and they don't pick up the product. Now we're taking that back home and throwing it away. Mm. So the head of Department of Agriculture said that the farmers markets are very essential in the local communities. An opportunity for shoppers while participating social distancing isn't a problem. It says, I don't know if you guys read page 1 that I put together with the state, and then all the rules and regulations. It looks like a lot and it looks very deceiving, but it's not a big deal. I know it's a big deal because of Corona-19, but it's not a big deal to just keep the traffic flowing in one steady way. And we just got to set the vendors up. And the vendors know that because they've got copies of this too. I'm not the only one that got this. Every farmer that does a farmer's market in the state of Connecticut has got all this information already. So they know what's going on. And if they don't know by now, then they shouldn't be in the markets.
Benny, what do you think our role is as the EDC at the market on a daily, on a Sunday?
What you guys do? You guys are doing a great job by setting up tables and keeping people happy in the area. You know what I mean? But at this point, they don't want that gathering type thing. So it's just a steady flow. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to be a steady flow. So really, there's nothing you guys can do other than show up and make sure that the traffic flows. And there's nobody's going to be standing around. You know what I mean? There's no standing around anymore. It's just a flow. You're going to go in one day, one gate, walk through and stay away from people 6 to 12 feet apart from them. And you're going to walk back out the other gate. If you want to come back in, you're going to have to go back around. You see what I'm saying, Jack?
Yeah.
There's no hanging around, no gathering, no setting up a tent and 5 people sitting under it trying to sell literature. They don't want that. You know what I
Right,
mean?
so informational booths are out.
Informational booths are out, any gathering tables are out. Any informational, anything like that is out. Other than if you have one person sitting under the tent and only one, or 6 feet apart, and then you got to have your 6 foot distancing in front of it. That's the only thing I can see. You know what I mean? So like your table over there, say Mary shows up with a half a dozen flowers. So Mary's going to set up at her tent. She'll stay there. And then she'll put a 6 foot guideline in front of her. People will walk up to it if they want it. She has to have another person there to hand off for herself. So she's the only one that's handling money or any volunteer work. Like in my situation, no one touches my product. I'll have one cashier that'll change his gloves between customers. And then I'll have another person in the front that will handle vegetables. And then on my end, the salad bar, that'll just go through, because I've got plastic shields and all kinds of stuff that I put together with the Department of Health, and the applications are already in. So that's all I see. I see a nice steady flow. I know the beef person is looking forward to it. She already sent her money in. I know Emily, she's looking forward to it. She's always the last one there and the last one to leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just got to figure out the social distancing. And if we see a problem, that's when someone has to step up and take care of the problem. But
that's basically what the EDC would be involved with doing. Making
Correct.
sure people keep their distances and just like a traffic control.
Right. Just like traffic
We don't have
control.
to set up anything for anybody, in terms
There's
of,
no tables and chairs, no
Right.
music. I mean, if you
Right.
want to put a chair out for an elderly lady that's going to walk through and you see she's tired, you can do that. But it's not going to be kids running around like lunatics. It's not going to be, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be just like the supermarkets right now. You wait your turn to go through, you monitor how many people go in and you monitor how many people go out. That's what EBT, you guys will be doing. You know what I mean? More or less. One person at one gate, and he watches who goes out and who comes in. And that more or less, that's all I see. I don't know unless you guys see something different. I see.
I guess my last question is, and I don't know the answer to this. So, but our vendors, are we kind of doing a disservice by having them come to our market instead of potentially going to a larger market during these times? Because
larger markets aren't accepting anyone else. They already have their vendor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When the person that left that market last year, they've already booked their market for the following year. And actually they want you to cut back on vendors. They don't want the full potential of the market. So where they had 50 vendors in Basra, that's not going to happen this year. There'll probably only be 20. You know what I mean? Because of the social distancing.
Yeah. Yep. So I just didn't know, is 100 customers enough to sustain a healthy market? You know, is it worth the time and the money for the vendors to come out for just 100 customers?
Well, I'll tell you what, in Emily's case, if she sold 5 bars of soap for $3 a piece and she made $15, she'd be the happiest girl in the world. The bread guy, if he sells 10 loaves of bread and makes $40, he's $40 richer than he was the day before.
Yeah.
You got to look at it that way.
Yeah.
People that do things for an essential hobby to have extra money in their income, they enjoy it and they like to go out and help people with product. Like myself, I'm a butcher for 45 years. For some crazy reason in my life, I started a greenhouse and I started Lakeview Farms, which I never thought today that it would expand to what it is today. Never in a million years did I expect this to grow to what I have now. Anything I make extra is very welcome. You know what I mean? It's just like you. If you get a bonus, how do you feel?
Yeah.
You feel great.
Good. Yeah.
You feel good. So if it's $1 more than you made the day before, hey, it's $1 more than I had yesterday. That's how I look at things.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's different, but dollars build up to billions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I look forward to people buying sweet corn this summer. I think people are looking forward to the farm fresh vegetables. I see people on a regular basis and they ask me every day, how far are we out, Ben? How far are we out for fresh tomatoes? How far are we out for this? Because you got to remember, their gardens are getting planted now. They're not going to have anything until September, October. My garden was started in January. My tomato plants are 7 feet tall. I got 20 pounds of tomatoes on each one of them. I mean, we're already picking, Jack came down my house the other day. We're already picking quite a substantial amount of stuff already. So that's what they look for. They look for that first piece of yellow squash. They look for that first green squash. They look for those fresh early string beans that they're waiting for out of their garden. And then once their gardens come in, that's when we fall back off a little bit. And then when their garden dies out because they get sick of handling it, that's when they come back to the market in the fall.
Yep.
And come back to us. So it's busy in the beginning, a little slow in the middle, and then it picks back up in the end. And it's been like this. I've been doing the markets for 14 years, and that's how it works. You know what I mean? They're looking for that very first. Jack, what are you waiting for first?
Yeah, yeah. I'm waiting for the squash and the corn. Yeah.
That's right. That's what everybody are looking forward to. They're looking for that 4th of July sweet corn, which none of the local farmers are going to have any corn that early unless you're a commercial grower of myself or somebody else. You know what I mean? I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
I think it's something that we can handle. I don't think we have, because we have some really, really, really nice customers in Allentown. I mean, some very nice, high quality people that I don't see on a daily basis, but when they come in, they appreciate us being there more than most people think. More than most people think. They really do appreciate us being around.
So other than us setting up our tent and our booth, I don't see us and then staying on traffic control, like Vinny was saying. I don't see us doing anything else there.
No. It's the same thing in me in Norwich. I'm going to, first thing in the morning, I'm going to be there at 8 a.m. I'm going to put my signs up. I'm hoping that the vendors will work with us all, with me, and say, hey, we have to move along. There's people behind you because there's people outside the gate that want to come in, because we got to look at it like a supermarket. We don't want to let any more than so many people in at a time and then so many people going out. It only gets busy just before church is out, just after church is out. That's the big bang. You know what I mean, Jack? It's not crazy in the morning at 10 o'clock. Then around 11 o'clock, it starts getting busy because people are coming out of church. And that's when you get that little extra flow. But I think that quality of people know what's going on. You know what I mean? If they want something, they'll stand in line and wait, and then they'll gradually flow their way through. But there's not going to be music, so they're not going to hang around for that. They're there to buy a bar of soap, or they're there to buy that gentleman's fresh baked bread, or they're there to buy a half a dozen ears of corn, or you know what I mean? They know that there's no more gathering. The gathering days are over until things are backtracked.
Right. So the only thing that we would do to promote the market in advance would if our budget is cut, and I'm saying this to Mark because you had spoken about trying to approach the banks.
There's no bank.
You know, is those postcards maybe, but
I don't think you need them. I think all you need is those flyers out there, those flags of yours on Sunday morning, because that's all I put out for the Norwich market. I don't put nothing else.
oh, okay, yeah.
Are what bring the people to you, and then the regular routine. People ask me every day, when's it going to start, Vin? When's it going to start? And I say, July. We don't start until July. You know that. Everybody says we don't start until July. So they're looking forward to July, Sunday morning, coming down, getting their product, and then they can go home and do what they want. I don't know.
I think it'd be worth probably investing in the postcards because we had talked about just doing Valentine or
Yeah.
something like that, like
Right.
just mailing out the postcards to Valentine.
Yeah.
I think especially with this time to let people know that the market is still happening because a lot of people might be questioning.
Yes,
whether or
that's
not-
it. Good point, Mark. Very good.
I know, what does that cost, Jack?
$1,300.
1,300 bucks. So. What do
No,
you got?
excuse me.
And there's
Yeah,
a
if it's
50
just a
bucks.
Valentine, Mark, if it's just a Valentine,
Oh, I'm getting bad service.
We lost you, Jack.
Yeah.
You there, Jack?
He's saying if it's just Valentine, it's probably half as much because we did Griswold, Valentine, and somewhere else. I can't where else he did. Griswold, and parts of North Stonington.
Preston. Okay, North Stonington.
He didn't do any Preston. He did Griswold, yeah, Griswold, Valentine, and parts of North Stonington. So it probably wouldn't even be $600.
Yeah.
So actually the farmer's market might cover it itself other than the porta toilet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Town would have to pitch in on a porta toilet for the farmer's market. But all they got to do is move the one from Constitution Field over there that's not being used right now, and it wouldn't
Yeah.
cost us anything.
Yeah, that's
You know
true.
what I mean? And I'm sure Tracy wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Constitution Field is closed. So if they moved that one over there and told the vendor, the guy, I don't see a lot of money coming from the town. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Makes sense, don't it?
Well, that's it. That's why I had mentioned reaching out to the banks to see if they'd be willing to sponsor. You know, if we could get $1,000 or $2,000, that would essentially cover all of the costs
Right,
associated with the market.
right.
All right.
so we could send out more postcards then.
Yeah,
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
like
good.
Eastern Savings and Loan and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've been kind of listening. Just a couple of suggestions that I had was, I can say that the market will be popular this year because people will rather shop for their produce at the market than they will go to the stores. So I think that it would be that it's a bonus to have that in town so that people have that option. I don't know if advertising, I think everyone knows the market's there. It's been there for a long time. I don't know if advertising is really something that we would, as far as the flyers go, is something we'd really want to do this year. Just because I don't know how, I think we have to see how the crowd's going to be, how everything's going to be to make it safe too. And I don't know, I didn't hear a lot of stuff, so I don't know if you guys talked about the hours, if we're keeping the hours the same or shorter, or anything either with that as far as for the crowds. And I don't know if we have to set the EDC tent up, because I think that we want to have as few people there as possible to, we don't want to have a place where people are going to come and hang out. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We don't want to, we're not supposed to have anything there that's going to make people want to hang out. They're supposed to come get their stuff and leave. So it's supposed to be probably, even if it's shorter, so people come and leave, they come and leave. And it's not, we don't want anything that's going to make people want to hang out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. My only thought, maybe, I don't know if you heard this part, Tracy, but with the postcards, people may not know that the market is happening this year. So we could send it out, say like 2 weeks before the market starts, and that way, and
With
it
the
could
rules and everything. It'd be
yeah, actually, that's a good point too.
If we
We
did it
could-
with the rules and be like, listen, we are having the market, but it's come and get your stuff and leave. It's not
Yeah,
come and hang out. Like, we were always trying to get people to stay and hang out, but that's not how it is this year. So,
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
uh,
So that's just my thought about having the postcards, because
yeah,
a lot of people might be questioning whether or not we're going to have it. And then, yeah, actually, you made a really good point, is we can put some of the guidelines on those cards, and that way people know ahead of time before they even get there.
Because if we're trying to get the vendors to have stuff prepackaged, the whole point is to have people touch stuff the least.
Yeah.
So the more vendors you can get to like prepackaged things, it'll give, and if we can get that information out too to people that like, listen, it's just don't pick up every piece of corn and look at it. It's gonna be set up for you to just to grab it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's kind of the message we have to get out there.
Yeah.
There's two ways you can, rather you can package the program. I mean, you got to package string beans and stuff like that in 1/2 pound and 1 pound packages, and potatoes in 1 pound and 3 pound bundles, because some people buy a 3 pound bundle. But the sweet corn, like I said, I'm going to run a straight line. I'm not going to run an L myself. So the corn will be at one end and the tomatoes at the other end. And when they come through, only my employees will be on the far side of the gate.
Mhm.
And then there'll be 6 foot distancing from them. The customer would pick out, I need 6 ears of corn. There's no pulling back and shucking it and looking at it. They get 6 ears of corn. If it's got a bug in it or it's not right, bring it back the following week or throw it away and just call me, say,
Right.
the corn had a bug in it, or I didn't like that ear. I'll give you credit for it. I'm not hard yet. I'm not hard guy to work with. You know
Right.
that, Trey.
Mm-hmm.
But things are going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we really, as far as the bathroom, the porta potties are like the tricky thing right now.
Yeah.
We want them there for the people that are like for the vendors and stuff, but we don't want it. We don't want them there for, I know it sounds horrible, but we're trying to like make it so people don't use them because they do have to be cleaned.
Right.
So,
Yeah. At least
there's like
once a day, every day, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can
So-
buy a sanitizer and spray them.
Yeah.
Where we can spray it before and after the market. And then through the market, we can spray it also, which is not a big deal. You can put this, the state of Connecticut has sanitation program put together for us, and where we can make our own sanitizer with just bleach and water, which is, it's only 1 gallon of water and 3 tablespoons of bleach in a pump bottle, in a spray bottle, and you just spray the area, which I got to do for my tables frequently through the market. I mean, I can't spray the product, but I got to spray where the cashier goes, you know what I mean? And then where the salad bar section is. But I do that already, other than, you know, this is all the same stuff we do already for the
Right.
markets. It's just more in depth. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same idea, but a little more in depth.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
But did you hear where I said that the porta toilet that's at Constitution Field, it's not
Yeah.
being used?
I think does
that
that
paid
come out
for?
of the rec?
I
Or-
think it does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
that would be up to the rec if we moved it. There are people that use it regularly. That
Yeah,
like,
there's a lot. I've seen that.
so,
Which that's actually a good point. So as what I've been hearing is that porta potties are going to have to be, as long as they're open to the public, they have to be serviced at least once a day, every day.
right,
Well,
So-
that's going to ratchet up the cost.
Yeah, exactly. So if that porta potty is actually open right now, that's a problem because
yeah. It's
not
on our
being
list to
cleaned.
keep calling about, and I don't think we've called about it yet, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, what we can do, let me interject
Yep.
here, is we
'Cause it
can
might
put a
just
lock,
disappear if it's gonna,
Yeah,
we could
yeah.
put a lock on it and just open it up for Sunday mornings.
yeah, we can. We
I'll have
definitely
to-
can.
find out about it.
And then we would be responsible for cleaning it or disinfecting it, every
You
Sunday.
can spray it before the market and then through the market. You just spray it once, and when somebody uses it, you spray it.
Yep.
And you can actually leave the spray right inside the toilet. When the person comes out, they spray it before they leave and set it on the floor. You know what I mean? All it is a bleach and water. It's a sanitizer.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
bleach and water solution that makes it safe for the next person.
Yeah, because I was at Rocky Neck on Saturday and they were there cleaning it. They just hose them down
Yeah.
with that solution. And then the guy's like, that one's all nice and clean. You can go in. And I'm like, yeah, it's soaking wet though. I'm like,
You don't have to soak
I'm like,
it.
that's kind of
All they want
gross.
is- They want to mist it. It's just a mist, and then it dries itself naturally. But with the door shut, that's impossible.
All right, I'm heading back to my other meeting now.
Okay.
You guys
All right.
have
All right.
anything?
Anything
Thanks,
more
Tracy.
on the farmer's market?
That's I was kind of listening in between this lovely
Yeah.
COVID-19 call. So
Good
and
points.
you can hear my son playing Xbox screaming in the background probably
I
too.
just got another email from Jamie Smith about something, but I didn't open it yet. Something about something. I didn't open it yet, but I'll read it later on. I can probably actually open it now. No, I can't.
Something, I saw that email too. Vinny, I saw that
Yeah,
email
I just saw it.
too.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is.
It's about getting a grant for farmer's market again.
Oh, yeah. Right. Illusion, right? No,
Oh,
live on YouTube. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I think we can figure this. We work as a team. Like Tracy said, I know everybody in town is looking forward to it. I have people every day ask me, are you gonna have the market event? And I go, as far as I know, everything's a go. I mean, it's gonna be different. It's not gonna be the same market it used to be. It might be this year, maybe next year, the year after before things are straightened out. None of us know. You know what I mean? We don't know where we're at, but all I know is the Department of Agriculture feels if that the local farmers are an essential, and they're the ones that are gonna keep our states alive with healthy foods. Backus Hospital has already contacted me 3 times because they actually set up and do a testing site there, and they have a program that we do in Norwich, and the head lady over there, Lisa Higginham, she actually called me and texted me yesterday and asked me how we're doing, and I said I talked to the state again yesterday. I talked to the town hall in Norwich, and they say everything's a go. Everything's a go. As long as we keep it exit and entrance and keep the flow going. And that market, nobody hangs around anyways because I don't have any entertainment. We don't have any music. The only thing that's there to offer people is the park, and the park is set up on the other side. So it's more or less just like Valentine. I mean, you're not going to have kids. You're not going to have the Playhouse Day and, and that kind of stuff. That's not going to be there this year. You know what I mean, Jack?
Yep. Tracy told me that she's going to contact the head of the health department.
Yeah.
And make sure that make sure that we're set with them as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
We may even see if somebody, maybe Al Goslin will stop by and give us blessing as well. So.
Yeah, talk to us. Yeah, that's why I've been calling them and find out and see what's going on. And they say that as long as we abide by the Cronus and also the literature here. Mark, did you see the literature that I put together? Did you get that?
yes. Yeah.
Spanish and English, stop the spread of germs and all that, and step to save. I mean, I've got them here. I don't know if you got all these, which will be posted through the market, and I put them in little Ziploc bags, and we can post them at my site. You can post them at the exits and entrances and through the market. I made up 50 copies of each, so we have plenty for the summer. Other than that, I think we're good. Other than that porta toilet, that's the only issue I see. That's the only issue I see is that porta toilet.
Yep.
Other than sanitizing it, you know what I mean? I think we can just get away with spraying it with sanitizer, and I think Al Goslin will I'll go with that, as long as we sanitize it before, after, and then close it off to the general public, and then put a spray bottle in there, and when you're done with it, you pump it off and throw away your gloves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Anything more, Mark?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Thank you, Vinny.
All right, gentlemen, good luck. Let me know what happens.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on our reports is the website and voluntown.biz with Tracy, but she's not here, so the next thing is the business development, planning and zoning. Mark, you want to talk about theme day with the work that you did and what I did a little bit?
Yeah, I don't quite know where we're at with that. I believe we sent, so I sent the spreadsheet to everyone, and then I think you also added your information. I don't have access to the town Facebook, so I think I was kind of under the impression that Tracy was going to start promoting those days.
Are we ready to start that? I think
All
I
right, so
totally
that's-
got sidetracked by other things and forgot
Yeah.
about it.
Go ahead,
If
Tracy.
we're ready to do that, we can start.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I think we
I
are.
added you to the Facebook page.
Oh, did you?
I can.
Oh, Ed, it's up to you. I mean,
All right.
if you want to add me to it, I can
Yeah,
do it.
because
Or
I
if
think
you,
I got distracted by whatever else was a new thing that week.
yeah, understandable.
It would certainly.
I have been talking to the businesses because I've been letting them know to order masks. The state's, someone donated a whole bunch of masks for small businesses. So I have reached out to the small businesses in town to have them sign up to get their masks and thermometers too, because they were giving away thermometers. And I think everything's still going on, and the farmers market might even be able to sign up and get masks too for the market. So
Yeah.
that would be a good thing too. But yeah, if we're ready to start that and we have the days all picked out for what they're gonna be. It was
Yeah.
in that spreadsheet, or do we still
Yeah.
have to
Or
decide what the themes are?
yeah, I think it wasn't necessarily in the spreadsheet. It was just in the emails.
Okay.
At the correspondence. I think one of the original emails I listed out all the dates. What I'll do is probably sometime this weekend, I can kind of send a refresher email.
Yeah,
Just so that way it's at the top of the list, and then we can go from there.
okay,
But yeah, if we can start, sometime, next
Monday.
week, like Monday. Yeah.
yeah,
Monday.
start on Monday and just start with the week that way.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
works.
Okay.
And I also put on the EDC website, right on the homepage. I've been updating it whenever I get new information, but there's links for businesses. So they know how to links for assistance, the grants, any rules that come, the rules or suggestions that come up that pertain to anything, I stick them on there too. So the list is getting pretty big, and I know I promoted it on Facebook a couple of times, and some of the residents business owners have been using it. So,
Good for you. Good.
Yeah.
we'll keep that updated, and you can just let people know that it's there.
Okay.
So, okay.
All right. The next item is the Connecticut Tourism. Tracy?
Yeah. I'm still the vice chair of the Eastern Region Tourism District. Being the vice chair gets me on meetings with all of the other tourism districts, and it's had me in communication with the Randy Fivich, who's the director of tourism for the state. So I've been in a lot of meetings with him lately, going over the plan for the state. They're not really promoting tourism right now, obviously. It's more to promote outdoor recreation, to promote safe things to do, the businesses that are slowly opening, to promote them. It's definitely an interesting time for tourism. So that's what's going on there. And as far as the town goes, for the tourism part of the town, one of the things that's going to be tough for us this year is the DEP staff, and making sure that we have the parks and the boat launches and everything staffed properly to help. It's probably going to be really crazy in town if there's nothing for anyone to do but outdoor recreation. It's kind of like we asked for it, now we're going to get it, and it's we're probably not ready to handle it yet. But it could get busy this year with all the park use. So
Yeah.
I read in the paper, the Norwich Bulletin, and I heard on the TV that all the beaches, inland beaches and ponds are off limits for
Yes.
this weekend.
they're
that's
closed,
gonna be-
and they're closed for the summer, I think, is what I've been hearing. The inland beaches are closed, and that's a problem that we're having with Finn Beach right now.
Finn Beach, yeah.
We have to figure out, because of it's so small. For the ocean beaches, they're recommending 15 feet between blankets. And if you look at Finn Beach, to go 15 feet between blankets, that's going to be like 5 or 6 blankets. Like, that's not a lot of
Yeah.
people on the beach. So the struggle we're having on the first selectman is how can we sell parking passes?
Yeah.
We usually sell a lot, enough to pay for our security. How can we sell parking passes if only 5 or 6 families are going to be allowed on the beach at a time? And you can't, and if there's nothing else for people to do besides go to the beach and outdoor recreation because everything else is canceled, how is it going to be manageable? So
That's a headache.
yeah. And even if we close the beach, we're still going to have security there to monitor.
People will come. You're right.
Yeah. So
Tracy,
Yeah.
I'm reading some of the emails I get from the Department of Tourism from Randy Five Ash and some of the other people.
yeah,
I see, despite our efforts to advertise our Patchogue State Forest, there's nothing about that at all there.
yeah,
And so maybe in light of where we are and what your comments just were, maybe that's a favor for us at this time.
yeah.
But certainly, it seems like there's always a void. There's nothing about, the only thing that I see in their literature about tourism for the state of Connecticut in this area is the Mystic.
Yeah, and that's something
click on
that we're really working on that with the new tourism board. We have new chair, the whole board is being revitalized. And that's one of the things, all of us that are on the executive committee, we're from all over Eastern Connecticut, and actually most of us are from Northeastern Connecticut. So that's one of the things we are going to be focusing on as the board, is to promote the whole Eastern Connecticut and not just Mystic. And the whole point, there is a point that they do focus on Mystic and the casinos and stuff, because those are the things that really do bring the most people here. But also hoping that by mentioning the other places, it'll give them something else to do. So that's the way it would go.
Yeah.
Good.
But-
All right. A couple of notes here. I have literature that you gave to me during our February meeting on the last Green Valley. They're looking for a monetary amount for supporting the Walktober. And I talked today with our friends from Patchogue State Forest and Bob and Jen Panko, who actually will do the walk on October 17th, I believe it. They do the walk to Mount Misery walk in the morning, and then afternoon they do the walk through the on that walk on the boardwalk trail that goes out to off to the side of
is it Mountain Laurel Trail?
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
not
the
Mount-
rhododendron.
Or
Rhododendron, yeah,
that's what
yeah.
it is. Yeah.
And then they also said right after that they're going to do the pumpkins. Ryan gets these pumpkins donated to them, and they do the pumpkin painting right there on the field there.
Yeah,
So in that light, I thought that we should get LG. The Last Green Valley has a deadline of June 1st for us to get money to them so we can get that publicized. And I think our $250, which we have in the budget, should be spent, and I need to get that approved by our group here. Do I have a motion to have the town in behalf of the EDC send $250 to the Last Green Valley?
that's for the Walktober events.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's a form I have to fill out, but with acceptance of this, I'll fill the form out and send it in to Julie tomorrow,
Okay,
because it's got to be there by the 1st of June.
yeah, and that's the same money we give them every year, right?
That's it. Yeah, we have
Yeah,
that in our
okay.
budget. Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, is that good, everybody?
Yep.
All right. Finally, on still tourism, the trails, we got the go-ahead from the selectmen for $1,000. We also got documentation from the Griswold selectmen indicating that they're going to get, they'll pay $1,000 and they'll get 2,000 maps, and we're going to get 5,000 maps altogether. So we'll get 3,000. That Griswold will get 2,000. And Griswold will pay the $1,000, and we'll pay the $1,000. And James, who is our map maker, has told me that he doesn't believe he'll be able to get enough advertisement spots filled. So that's the reason why I sent out to the Historic Society and also to everybody today the 1975 bicentennial map of Allentown. That's the bicentennial for the country, 1975, with 45 historic sites listed on it. And what we need to do is pick out accessible to the public historic sites, and then give that to him, and he'll come and take pictures of those and include those in our in the blank spaces on the backside of our map where he can't get advertisement slots from the various other and former businesses.
Do they
So
do they
if you
have to be?
Look at that list. If you have, doesn't have to be from that list. If you got other things.
Yeah, so I was just gonna ask, do they have to be historical? Because I mean, I think we should use this opportunity to promote Patchogue. You know, we can pick 5 places in Patchogue.
There's
Yeah.
like on some of the trails, there's we were on the one of the loops on Hodge Pond Loop Trail, I think, and there was like old built like some sort of structure. I don't know what it was, but there was a tree that was like grown over like a pole on the structure, and it had googly eyes on it. So even if we could put things like for people to like, can you spot this on a trail somewhere kind of thing? And interesting, like either historical markers or something on a trail somewhere, and see if they can find out which trail they are.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the map, 75 map, there's got a lot of neat things in the forest like that.
Yeah.
So, what I'm saying is, in the next week or so, we send me what you've got, and I'll get it over to James,
All right,
okay?
I have a picture of one of the structures on the hodgepodge trail. I don't know
All right.
what the building was, but it's pretty cool.
Hmm.
All
That
right,
building
well,
that,
take a look at the map which I sent today to everybody.
all right,
See if you can identify it.
all right.
Yep.
Okay, yep. And then historic update, I don't have anything more on that. Do you, Tracy? Mark?
No, we still
Okay.
need to paint the schoolhouse. We have all the supplies. We just need to wait till we can have more than 5 people paint it.
Oh, that's, yeah. You'll have the volunteers from Sterling to do that?
Probably, yeah. Once we get the clear to
Okay.
have a social gathering, we'll be able to paint the schoolhouse.
Did they get the final windows, the two windows on the
I
south
haven't
side?
seen him in yet. I think he must still be working. I'll check. I gotta check in on it with him and
All
see.
right,
But we have all the painting supplies are in the basement at the town hall, so they wouldn't get gross in the winter. So
oh, good, that's good, that's good. Oh, and then the story with the drum. Did we get anywhere with that?
I think Mr. Niemanen was gonna be looking into it, and I haven't heard anything back. I don't think.
All right. Maybe,
Because the
maybe,
cost was really high
yeah,
for what you had planned.
yeah. So should I have Jen Panko contact them?
Yeah,
You want me
because
to
I
do
don't
that?
remember if they sent a quote or not. That was before the whole COVID thing.
All right, do you want to talk to Jen
I
on
don't
that?
really remember
or-
much before then.
I know. How do you want to handle that, Tracy? Do you want it? You want-
I don't know. I think Jen was doing it with Mr. Niemanen, so maybe see if she can touch base and see what's going on, or if she
All right.
has anything and can resend it, because I don't, that's like 2,000 emails ago, and
Yeah,
I don't know if I'll.
yeah. Okay, I'll remind Jen then to go back for the drum. Yeah,
Because I think he was looking into something cheaper.
yeah. Okay. All right, then the next thing is on budget. I sent everybody the update to the budget, and if there's no, we've got basically the same as it was the last time we looked at it. In our February meeting, a little bit of money was spent more for our 99 Main Street Internet and for our secretary. So we still have $1,500, 1,000 for the map, and then for workshops, and the $250 of that 500 was for the Last Spring Valley. We have $100 for the Connecticut Trust still.
Yeah,
we haven't
pay off all of the dues and stuff that we normally pay. Just pay those off.
Okay, and
'Cause we are in the budget freeze now, but anything that you normally, and like the dues and the.
yeah, we don't have any.
anything-
We don't have any. There's none.
But the
no
Last Creek
conferences.
Valley, we usually, is something that we pay, and the Historical Trust, we usually pay.
Yeah, so we'll send those two out. Okay,
Yeah, those are like dues, kind of.
and then there's still a balance of about $4,000 in the farmer's market, but I don't, the only thing I think that was there was money for the postcards. Because we send those out in June. And I think that's how that was going. But if Mark can get the donations from the banks, then we don't have to spend that money. I don't know if you were in that part of the conversation,
I
Tracy.
heard a little bit of it. I don't know if
Okay.
they would do that for I think the banks would be more to sponsor, like if we had music or activities or anything like that, but since of what's going on, we can't do that. Maybe they would sponsor the flyers if we put their names on them.
Yeah, that was my thought, is pretty much the deal.
So you're going to put something together for us, Mark?
I think he froze.
Am I back?
You,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
you
I thought he was
are.
asleep. He was like, is he sleeping?
You were glitching.
Oh. So, yeah, pretty much the deal would be like, if they contributed $2,000, you know, say it was Jewett City Savings Bank, we could say, you know, Valentine Farmers Market sponsored by Jewett City Savings Bank, and their name would go on, you know, any kind of promotion
Anything.
that we put out
Yeah,
there.
that would be good.
Yeah. So, and then we could even, you know, buy a banner and hang it up somewhere that says, you know, Valentine Farmers Market sponsored by.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I won't reach out to any local businesses because I know they're all struggling. It would just be the banks because
Yeah.
they're required to donate a certain percentage of their like value or something like that. So
All right, anything more in the budget? Old business? New business? Suggestions for our next meeting, to June 18th.
Oh,
I have none.
did we decide what did we decide when we were talking about signs next time or this time? Do we even have cones and all that stuff? Did you have to start getting ready? Do we need to start talking about or any purchases we need to make before the market opens?
Are we
Yeah.
gonna need like sanitizer and stuff and like stuff that we're not gonna be able to find?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, it maybe since we do have some money left over, we can purchase some, you know, PPEs.
Sanitizer.
Yeah, sanitizers, masks.
Why did the fine print say we needed sanitizer during that whole?
Yeah,
market?
yeah.
Oh,
But I think that the vendors have to have their own sanitizers, but we might have to have some, we might want to put some at like the entrance or the exit too for people to use.
Good point, yep.
Yeah, and if I know Vinny kind of already made those signs, but if we know we have money left over, you know, maybe we invest in some semi-permanent signs, you know, that we can get made so that's, you know, nice and fancy.
Yeah, the ones we talked about that we'll have for a lifetime, right? That we
Yeah,
Put away and put out when we need them, and they're like on sawhorses.
yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like the sandwich signs, I think is what they're called. Like the A-frame signs.
Yeah, one of the things we have to think of too is the call I was just on, it was with DPH, and it had the state epidemiologist for DPH was on there, and he was talking about, it was kind of depressing. He was talking about when the surge, if the surge happens, it'll be starting July. What happens in June and July is going to determine how the second surge goes, and the second surge could start in August. So these are just all things that we're going to have to like prepare for if there's a possibility that we might have to like not have the market for the complete time. So
Yeah, we talked about that at the very beginning, yeah,
yeah,
of our meeting today, yeah.
so
Have to just play it as it comes.
right. That's what I'm trying not to. One of the things I've always done is trying not to discourage things, but still be safe about it. So it's harder. And the call I was just on too, was a statewide call, and it's harder for us on the eastern side because we're not hit with, our cases are minimal compared to the western part of the state. Like the towns in the western part of the state, they have testing centers, like their towns run testing have testing centers there and are involved with their testing centers, and we don't have testing centers set up separately on this side. So it is a huge contrast between just the two different parts of the state. And there were people even on the call saying that on the eastern side, people are getting, and we all see it, people are getting to the point where this is insane. It's not bothering us. We don't have it here. We're just gonna go back to normal. But the people on the other side are like still dealing with everything. So it is interesting. That we were telling DPH that you need to understand that on the eastern side, people are starting to get frustrated and they're not following rules. They're just going back to every day. And DPH needs to understand that that's what's happening now. So anyway, I just went on a tangent, sorry.
So for our meeting in June, we're going to decide about signs. Mark talked about a banner, and Al has got a company that he was working with to make up those little lawn signs that we would distribute throughout town, like we did last year, but ones that you can read.
Okay, that don't look like fish bowls.
Yeah.
Like, why is there goldfish on the sign?
So, we had put money in, like we talked about, there's still the $4,000 of potential money that, but we're not going to spend that kind of money on these signs, and whatever proceeds that Mark can get from the banks, we could use that money for the signs then too.
Yep.
But we could talk about that in June. Because I don't think it takes, Al, it doesn't take much time for those signs to get made, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Mm-mm.
I don't really know how long it takes to get the little soul horse thing. I forget even, it was so long ago, I forget what the prices are even, I don't know if the plastic soul horse was like $50 and the sign was 25 or something. I mean, it wasn't a lot of money. So, but
and you
I'm
want
sure
that
the lead
10 of
time of the
those, so-
signs is fast. I just don't know about the soul horse structure that holds them. That might be a week or so. It can't take that long to order something.
Yeah. All right. Good. Okay. Anything else?
No,
Mark?
should we decide on purchasing some sanitizer and masks right now, seeing as that could be on back order?
I don't even know where you guys are going to get that stuff from, right? I mean, I
The
can't.
sanitizer's hard to find. We can't even, we have like connections through the state and we
Yeah.
still can't get them. But the
Okay.
masks, we can put a request through for small business, see if they let the farmers market fall under that, and we can get like 50 masks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that should be plenty.
They're the disposable ones.
Okay.
But are we going to hand them out to the people coming in? Is that it?
I think that the vendors should probably have their own.
Yeah.
And these would be used for like the farmers markets, like EDC, people that are for volunteers.
Okay. Not
And
handing it out to the general public, because they're going to expect that then.
yeah, I
Right.
think we should maybe make sure they bring their own.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe have some justing if they really don't have one, but most people have them by now.
I mean, they should, because right now they need to.
Yeah. So most people should have them, but I mean, they'd be mostly for volunteers. But we can put that on the mailer to make sure they have their masks.
Yep.
Bring masks.
When are we making this postcard, and who's going to be responsible for that?
Are you doing it through Minutemen again?
Yeah, I would think so, because they got our information there, and although Diana keeps saying that Griswold High School does it, but nobody's in Griswold High School anymore. So
Right.
let me just
True.
retract my statement in that regard. I think Minuteman Press is the way to go with it again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They have all our stuff. We just have to figure out we don't have events. So we just have to, where the events would go, we can just put like, bring your mask and
Yeah, we'll list like the guidelines.
yeah.
So if you
And
want to
we-
put, Mark, if you want to put something together,
Okay.
and then we can get that approved at our next meeting.
I have another document too for farmers markets. It's not the same one that Vinny had. It's different. I'll see if I can find it and I'll email it to everyone.
Okay,
Can
in the
we-
meantime, yeah, we can get that together and then we'll, you know, at the next meeting, we'll say, okay, let's go with it. Because
Yeah.
it takes them a couple of 3 weeks for them to get that printed out and mailed out.
Yeah, so my concern is that if we wait until next meeting, it's gonna be too late. So can we, if all we're deciding on is wording,
Wording.
can we just decide that via email?
Yeah.
It's not.
We're already agreeing to get them, so
Yeah, to
we're
the
just
purchase.
agreeing to get them with modifications. I think that's fine.
Yep,
Just
Yeah.
like, how many are we getting? Just Voluntown and? Is that what we
Yeah.
decided?
yeah.
Unless-
Should we do, I'm fine with just Voluntown, or is it possible to do like Voluntown and the, Hopeville area of Griswold, like
Yeah.
from 395 over kind of thing?
I'll send that
Whatever our
info- I'll
budget
send
is.
that in- I'll send that information out to everybody so you can see exactly what we did last year. And then you can make up your minds what you want to do, okay?
How much was it last year?
It was about $2,500.
Okay. So what if we said, I don't know, can we vote and say not to exceed $2,000?
Mhm.
Is that
Well, let me
something that
send-
you want?
Let me send the
Wanna do?
information out so you can see, how many, because each mail route has so many in the mail route. And then they combine it together to say, okay, the printing is going to cost X amount of dollars for the 2,000 or 2,500. And then the mailing is going to cost another $1,000. So let me send all that information out so you guys can look at it and then give me feedback. And then with that, we put the order in right after our June 18th meeting. There's still enough time to, and I'll verify that as well in the next couple of days. There's still enough time to get the rack cards made and mailed out before our July 10th or 11th Sunday. We don't want to let those rack cards get out too early because then it's been experienced that everybody just throws them in the trash and forgets about them.
We can always do
Okay.
a special meeting too for like,
True.
if we need to do one before the next June meeting
Yeah, true.
to get some
Okay.
stuff done.
All right,
Okay.
so action.
Because yeah,
items
he
for
does
me.
have the logistics that it's probably hard just to say an amount because it's all split up.
Yes, right, that's right. I'll send all that information out to you in the next couple of days so everybody can digest and make opinions.
Okay.
All right, good point, Mark, thank you.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right. Tracy you made it, and Mark seconded it, and it's 7:25. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so carried. Okay,